A very good morning to you, Kenyan citizens. Welcome, and this is the Current Affairs segment, your trusted source for the latest news, insightful discussions, and impactful stories shaping our nation and beyond. I'm Angela Kabete, and together with Mr. Kimotho, we'll dive into the latest news and uncover the truth behind what has been happening that is in our country and beyond. Kwa hivyo, make sure that you stay tuned as we break it down right here, right now. Mr. Kimotho.
Yes.
A very good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
How is your morning?
My morning niko sawa kabisa.
Unajua tuko karibu kumaliza wiki, na kupeleka aje?
Yanipeleka vizuri. Ukipata nafasi ambayo umepewa, unashukuru na mambo yanakuwa sawa.
Salimia watazamaji.
So ni kuwasalimia na kuwashukuru kwa vile wamekuwa pamoja na sisi throughout the week na kuwakaribisha kwenye show. Let us see now what has been highlighted today. Welcome so much.
Yeah, and before anything else, it is always our norm to give you that is the verse of the day. And today's verse comes from, that is Colossians 4:2, and this is what it says. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. This is Paul writing to the church, encouraging believers, now believers, that is me and you, to have a strong spiritual life, to have a strong prayer life. However, it starts by saying, devote yourselves to prayer. This means that you should stay committed and consistent in prayers as a Christian each and every day, because you know prayer is a way of us Christians communicating to God. And then also don't forget that prayer should be a lifestyle for you as a Christian, not in times of emergencies. Mr. Kimotho ndio wanakumbuka God exists. Each and every time you're supposed to prayer is supposed to be that is a lifestyle and shows dependence to God. And then it says that hapo kwenye inasema being watchful, it means that you need to be spiritually alert and aware of what is happening around you, because unajua the good thing with prayer, because you pray, God has given us the Holy Spirit, and it gives us discernment. And when you discern things, at least you understand what God wants you to do. You are aligned into God's will. Even when you pray, you're praying according to God's will. Alafu tena inamalizia kwa kusema and thankful. However, gratitude keeps your heart humble and full of faith. And however, we as Christians, we need to change our way of praying instead of complaining, because kuna mtu mwenye ataomba for 3 hours but amekuwa kilament, hujanifanyia hii, hujanifanyia hii, hujanifanyia hii. But we're being reminded that be thankful for the little things, even you breathing, even you waking up early in the morning. Ni Mungu ametupea hiyo nguvu. Kwa hivyo make sure that be thankful, and God is always faithful. What's your take on this?
An attitude of thanksgiving. Yeah, hiyo ndio one of nikiangalia pale wame highlight. So sometimes what attitude do you have whenever you are going to pray? Attitude gani ambayo uko nayo? Environment gani ambayo wewe mwenyewe umecreate? Because in normal situation unakutaka kama for example saizi mtu akiazaitwa hata kama na president, definitely kuna expectation ya kwamba sasa mambo yangu yote ambayo nilikuwa nafanya at least itaweza kusolviwa. So what expectation ni expectation gani ambayo tuko nayo whenever now we are going before our Lord? So we should have an attitude of thanksgiving, because it means that you already have hope and faith kwamba everything that I'm going to that is to submit yote itakuwa imeshughulikiwa.
Yeah, and also having a genuine and a sincere heart.
Yes.
And that is the verse of the day. And now let's head over to what has been happening, because each and every day there are new stories, and this is where we break them down. I have the Daily Nation with me.
I have the Standard newspaper. And
on today's Daily Nation, there are many stories that you're going to check out. Tutaangalia mambo ya the police, tutaangalia that is matters to do with legal and crime, and then tutaangalia that is the economy and other stories as well. What about you?
Yeah, ukiangalia panaona kuna local news, kuna issues to do with that is a TSC and SHA and among the other stories ambazo tutaweza kuziangalilia huku.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a story that you love us to start with?
Standard, that is a standard hapa. Naona that is wame highlight a story that is ya wale activist ambao walikuwa detained that is kule Uganda. Na according even to the statement of the president, alisema president of Uganda sema kwamba alikuwa amefungiwa in a fridge for that 8 days na inaonekana kwamba kumekuwa na issues. Then nikiangalia hapo wanasema that is now sasa wanaangalia now the ministry now of foreign affairs, the way it handle the situation, the way it ilijaribu sasa kwa nini, that is hata kwa kitoa the own statement. Na that is nikiangalia hapa kuna some of the comment from a political analyst on concerning of the story of the two, that is Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, ambao ndio walikuwa wamekuwa detained kule. So Mudavadi is a status quo person. He will not like to rattle Uganda and Tanzania because they are our trading partners. Yet the lives and property of Kenyans must take precedence over any other interest. That is now according to Martin Andati, a political analyst. Each country then has an obligation to ensure its that is a citizen are free from harm. Failure to do that implies that the country does not know what interest that needs that is protecting and advancing care. That is according now to Masharia Monene, also a history professor. Pia Mudavadi performance has been very underwhelming. You cannot compare him with Ambassador, that is Amina Mohammed, that is now according now to Professor, that is Naituli Multimedia University. So kiangalia, these are just some of that is the comment according now to how the ministry handled the situation, because tuliangalia people were waiting now for a statement, haikuweza kutolewa, hakuna anything ambayo iliweza kufanyika, because tukiangalia anything ambayo huwa inafanyika on that is konini, that is kwa wale wananchi wa any other nation, tunaonaga that is that nation kuna ile statement ambayo huwa wanatoa. So kuna a lot of criticism ambayo nikiangalia hapa ninaona zinao zote zinaangazia that is kwa the ministry kwa the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Nikiangalia page 6 inasema Mudavadi clueless on diplomacy as many Kenyans suffers abroad. The reason that is a mistreatment of Kenyans in Uganda and Tanzania has exposed that is now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as perhaps one of the weakest that is a docket ambayo imekuwa pale. So since the Kenya Kwanza regime took the reign, Kenyans have undergone that is abuse in the neighboring countries without much protest that is without much protest from Nairobi or any other historian. That is now Professor Masharia Monene thinks that sasa hizi sasa ni zile comment now according now to our own analyst, according now to the performance of that ministry. Na ukiangalia that is according especially now even kwa zile demonstration tulikuwa tumeona na yale mambo ambayo yamekuwa kifanyika, less has been done, because now the Minister of Foreign Affairs is supposed now to come out clearly, is supposed also to issue that is an alert whenever now kuna issue na citizen ambao wanaishi kwa hiyo nation, maybe kwa hakuna hiyo alert ambayo iliweza kutolewa, hakuna mpangilio fulani ambao uliweza kutolewa pale, because kuna kuwa na zile risk, especially wakati kuna election inafanyika in a certain nation, unakuta kuna mambo ambayo yanafanyika na pengine kuna wenzetu ambao tu wako normally tu pale wanaendelea na kazi yao bila kujua. So ukiangalia nao kuna mtazamo tofauti that is na yale masuala ambayo yalikuwa yamefanyika pale. Na pia tuliona pia jana that is the ministry pia ikiweza kutoa some of the statement and some of the issues according pia na na yule mwalimu ambaye aliweza that is kusakam kule Tanzania, na pia watu wanangojea bado apeane statement ya wale wengine ambao hawajapatikana. But the two that is Njagi and Oyo ambao walikuwa detained for 38 days torture in kule that is in Uganda military, tuliona pia kitoa the statement in our local televisions. Na that is the other thing is that ambao walikuwa nasema ya kwamba bado kuna wengine ambao waliwacha wamekuwa detained kule, na walikuwa nasema wengine ni wa other nations ambao ziko pale. So it is something ambayo that is needs that is to be looked upon, because pia kuna zile the human rights issues ambazo that is zinafaa ziangaliwe pale, because kukuwa detained, because whenever now umekuwa arrested you're supposed now to be presented in court. Na tuliona that is even now the PS of Foreign Affairs alikuwa anajaribu kutetea ile comment ambayo iliweza that is kutolewa na that is the president of Uganda, ambaye alikuwa anasema that is the fridge ambayo bale walikuwa wamewekwa, akijaribu nao kuelezea the meaning of that fridge, just a part of isolation na mambo mengine ambayo yako pale. But they ilikuwa detained under now the military, that is act ama the military surveillance ambayo huwa zinakuwa ziko pale. So ukiangalia it is an issue ambayo that imepatiwa kipaumbele na watu wengi wanataka kuiangalia na kujua how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is going now also now to act and also to issue their statement concerning now the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can say the same story that is page 3, but this is related to Tanzania. And they say bodies of 2 Kenyans killed in Tanzania are still accounted for. And the bodies of the 2 Kenyans who were killed in the armed post-election violence in Tanzania are yet to be found. And that happened, that is after the election, that is after Samia Suluhu was sworn in, that is in October 29th. And the Prime Cabinet Secretary the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, that is Musalia Mudavadi, yesterday, and the government was pursuing the matter with a view of finding the body of the teacher, that is John Ugutu, who was killed during the protest. Akasema would like to update Kenyans on the status of our citizens in Tanzania, that 8 Kenyans arrested in different police stations across Tanzania have been released. 3 Kenyans are still being held. 3 are being held, 2 in Arusha and 1 in Dar es Salaam. That is what Mr. Mudavadi said yesterday. And in addition to that, akasema, however, there are 2 unresolved cases. One, a Kenyan by the name John Ugutu, was shot, that is on October 29th around 7 p.m. And as well, anasema that he was a teacher in Sky Schools, and Kenya has demanded answer from the Tanzania on the fate of its citizens caught up in the post-election violence. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has assured Kenyan that they'll still do a follow-up.
Yeah.
So I hope they do something about it, because these are brothers and sisters who are out there.
Yeah.
And the people are saying out there that the ministry is not doing enough of the foreign affairs, because we saw that is last week they had a meeting with the diplomatics, that is in Tanzania. They could have resolved that issues, which has been there for so long, because they're just giving statements but they're not acting enough. Yeah.
And also at the same time, even if we blame the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or any other ministry, it's always good to understand the place where you're going, the reason why you're going there, and also the timings where you're going also, and also the risk on it, because the constitution that we are using in our nation is very different to the constitution of the other nations. And whenever now you step your foot outside now our nation, the rules of the other nation applies. So it becomes very hard, because to us we are enjoying a very good new constitution that is guiding us, governing us, and giving us now the right direction, the direction. But now whenever now you come now to other nation, unakuta kwamba the other nations kuna ile that is their own constitution, kuna mambo ambayo haina. So that is also now pia another issue that also needs to be addressed, even if we are trying now to advocate now for the African or East African, that is movement. Pia hiyo ni kitu ambayo pia inafaa iangaliwe, kwa sababu tena watu tena wasijeke kwa shida, tena wakuje tena kusema tena now the government now should come in and do it also. So let us also take precaution, and also at the same time tuweze ku understand what is happening, because even if whatever has happened it is against the human rights that is a movement ama the human rights that is a act, it is something that should be condemned. Because ukiangalia pia kwa gazeti unakuta hawa that is Bob Jagi na Nicholas Oyo wanasema wale walikuwa detained, kulikuwa na other people from other nations ambao pia waliwacha pale na hawajui kama pengine waliweza kuachiliwa. So it shows you that it is something that ambayo imekuwa ikiendelea pale. Now it is upon now that is wale awashikadao wote our East African will come now into conclusion, so that how now they can be able now to solve this issue.
And talking about that is Bob Njagi and the other activists. I can see they have mentioned a few things that is Mr. Mudavadi alisema that Kenya has not lost its soul, and that's why we are speaking openly about what has been happening. So let's see what will happen on the matter. I hope they come into a good conclusion as well. Na tunaona hapa Mr. Museveni he issued a bold warning declaring that Uganda is entitled to access the Indian Ocean through Kenya, and he said if the issue is not resolved, there could be future wars. So waiting to see what will happen about that. That's another thing that he mentioned that is on Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. Now President Museveni sometimes anatoa some comments ambayo saa zingine inakuacha ukiwa amazed because now the issue of Indian Ocean is something that now they need now to address it. Na ukiangalia now the issue of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs vile ambavyo imekuwa handle these issues shows you that that is a CS Musalia Mudavadi needs now to do something because pia wakati now kuna unajua tumekuwa pia na ile issue pia ya Migingo Island ambayo kumekuwa na issue between Kenya and Uganda, na hiyo issue bado inafaa ikuwe pia resolved. So the other issue pia mambo ya Indian Ocean na mambo yale mengine pia nao pia wanafaa waweze kuiaddress because pia kuna ile mipaka hata pale kwa ocean kuna kuwa na ile mipaka ambayo inakuwa iko pale. But we are tutangojea tuone vile ambavyo wataresolve.
Okay, so let's shift our focus that is to the education sector, and one of the highlights that is page 1 of the Daily Nation. They say that 4 billion the debt threat to senior schools rollout. You know, the Ministry of Education owes the publishers that is approximately 10 billion, and they say that printing firms have declined to produce grade 10 textbooks over the debt of 4 billion for grade 8 and 9 they have supplied since that is 2022. Since 2022, a standoff that now threatens to derail the rollout of the competency-based education that is CBE, and all this is because the government steals all the publishers that is 10 billion for the school textbooks, and now printers are demanding that publishers should clear the outstanding bill before they can work on the next order. So I don't know why the government has not acted on this, because this report was released a few months ago. At least ungeona the government wamewalipa a certain amount, umebakisha this amount, but still they have not acted on it. And unajua shule zimekaribia kufunguliwa, that is coming January. And we are on page 4 here, and they say that the debt has severely strained the financial operations of printers and manufacturers, posing a significant risk to continued rollout of the CBC curriculum, especially for the grade 10 learners to transition to senior schools, that is in January 2026. That is what they say. And the debt is owed to the publishers who are contracted by Kenya Institute of Curriculum Developers, that is KICD, to develop textbooks and supply them to schools. So the government, this is something they should work on, especially that is the Ministry of Education. And I can see there is a statement that is from Mr. Kamau Kiare, the chairperson of the Kenya Publishers Association. He warned about this crisis about a month ago. Now amesema that we are going to the printers, and they are saying they will not print unless they are paid what is owed to them. So the government, pay these people what you owe them so that they can print books for the students and the learners. And still on the same note, that is on the education sector, that is page 5. Our president, kuna statement imewekwa hapa. This is what he said. We have promoted that is 25,000 teachers, and some 83,129 teachers are handling millions of junior learners. That is what he said. And the government has announced the promotion of the 25,000 teachers and deployment of 20,000 interns to ease the 72,000 shortage of junior schools. And that is what the president president said yesterday, and his speech was read by the Education Cabinet Secretary, that is Julius Ugamba, and he said the government is committed to equipping every child with knowledge, character, and competencies needed to thrive in a changing world. So I hope in this statement waniongezee mambo ya kulipia vitabu and say how they are planning to pay these people these debts. And akasema that leadership is the pillar of lasting reform. Without it, even the boldest policies are rendered hollow. That is what he said, adding that the reforms are designed to deliver continuity, equity, and access in learning. Dr. Ruto said the government has made strides in reforming education by shifting the route of learning to mastery, from examination to assessment, and from schooling for certificates to learning for life. And we have transitioned, that is, learners from primary to junior schools, and are finalizing preparation. He highlighted the process, the progress in technical and vocational education and training, where the government has explained and aligned nearly 240 institutions and industries need to be implemented. The recognition of prior learning. So let's see if all these things that they have mentioned here coming January, will this be still there? Ama still schools zitakuwa zina complain, we have not received this, this is not there, vitabu hazijafika, because it's so sad. Yes.
It is now upon the ministry also to try now to make sure that wamemaliza haya maswala yote, because it will be very unfair kwamba January imefika sasa ndio wanaanza kukimbizana na vitabu, wanaanza kukimbizana na nini. So this is the right time waweze kukamilisha haya yote, because you still have a new program ambayo bado kila mtu anajaribu kuadjust nayo, wazazi, wanafunzi, na ili kuweze kuona ni yapi ambayo atakuwa pia maswala ya vitabu. It is also something that they also need to address, because itakuwa vigumu sana wakati January nafika ni wanaanza kukimbia here and there, na pia wale contractors pia ambao pia wanafaa walipo pesa yao. It is also something that they also need to do before ifike, that is at that time.
Yeah, and you know, we don't know the Ministry of Education coming January watakuwa natumia excuse gani, because the excuse that they have been using is still they are doing the audit of the ghost schools and the ghost learners. That's why they have not released capitation in schools. So let's see January watatumia gani.
Tunangojea tuone, because pia nikiangalia hapa pia kuna another story ambayo pia inahusu walimu na mambo na SHA. Because tuliona recently ya kwamba kulikuwa na ile merger, that is the insurance, that is mahali walimu wamekuwa wakilipa insurance yao cover. Sasa that is kuna ile deal ambayo sasa ilikuwa shifted, so they shifted their medical cover now to SHA, ambayo now the government now needs now to relearn now the whole scheme. But pia imekuwa na mtazamo tofauti, because you know, kuna ile the treaty that is there, and also pia the involvement, and also the process itself, because pia hii bado inahusu, that is the Ministry of that is Education. Inside that, familiar with the matter revealed that the decision reached out on Monday by the three main unions, that is the Kenya National Union of Teachers, NAT, Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, that is Kabete, and Kenya Union of Special Needs Education Teachers, bypassed key legal requirements such as competitive contracting and public participation before settling on the option. So instead, a new medical cover was effected through a presidential decree issued on State House following a meeting between teachers, a representative, and a president, that is William Ruto, on September 13. So during the meeting, the President Ruto, that is aliongelea mambo ya ali insist on the existing medical cover, saying that it offered neither value for money nor adequate access to healthcare services. But however, the teachers union and the employer, that is the TSC, were given no alternative but to adopt the SHA, ambayo sasa ndio waliweza, that is kukaa chini. So kuna watu ambao pia wako na mtazamo tofauti on the issue, na vile ambavyo ilifaa that is kuweza kuletwa, na pia vile ambavyo walimu walifaa kuwa involved wote, because unajua sasa hii despite pia ya TSC, that is kuenda kudecide on behalf also that is the individual teachers walifaa pia nao pia waweze kutoa their statement. So ukiangalia but unajua kwa mambo yale yote haikosi wale ambao wana support, haikosi wale ambao that is pengine hawa support. That is now depending now with a different opinion. So Education Cabinet Secretary, that is Julius Ogamba, however, promised that is the issue raised by teachers union, by teachers under the SHA will soon be addressed. The CS acknowledged that the concerns that is of the matter that has been there concerning the SHA, yote watacommit. The government is going now to commit itself in resolving the issue. Pia na tukiangalia pia the speaking at the Kenya Primary School, that is a Head Teachers Association conference in Mombasa, the CS noted that most of other issues raised by teachers have already been addressed by SHA. So bado ni kitu ambacho bado inaweza kuangaziwa, because unajua now the deal hii ya the TSC na SHA inahusu that is a 21 billion deal ambayo itakuwa inajisa ni shift of the allocation of resources from this end na pia to the other end. Unajua pia walimu wamekuwa na other insurance, medical insurance, that is agency ambao wamekuwa kideal nayo. So kuna hiyo bado tu msuko ambao pia bado inahusu the ministry that is of education, and inajua soon pengine wataweza kukama up to a conclusion na waweze kufaa vile mambo ambavyo yanaweza kufaa.
Okay. And another story is that is page 6 of the Daily Nation. Matters to do with what our president is doing that is in our country. And tour President Ruto itinerary continues with inspections and launches across Kitui and Machakos. You know, visited that is the Ukambani area. And President Ruto promises projects, to deeds, and a new university to the region. These are some of the promises that he made, that is during his 4-day development tour in Ukambani. And this is what, and they say that Ruto's first major visit to the region since that is 2022 election, where Ukambani overwhelmingly backed Azimio's Raila Odinga, aimed to flip the bloc crucial Mr. Musyoka's, that is the 2027 ambitions. And this is what our president said: as we develop the rest of the country, we'll not leave Makueni behind. Although you gave me a few votes. So he admits that I'll compare votes mingi, okay? You know, this is also part of campaigning, right? Because you say, although you give me a few votes, I won't abandon you. Oh, this is very interesting and very heartfelt. Ukambani will no longer lag during this or next term. I cannot form the next government without the Ukambani people. Wow. That is what Ruto said yesterday. Ruto said at Kasieku Township, issuing that is 2,140 title deeds in Kilome and 2,000 in Kibwezi. And in addition to that, the tour began with commissioning of that is 1.9 billion Mikio Bridge across the Sultan Kiambweke Road, and the launch of the Tama King on that is 42 kilometer Imali Ukia Road, connecting Kibwezi West and Makueni and Kaiti constituencies. And again, let me quote what our president said. The other guys, we don't know who are the other guys, Aja mentioned, but generally when mwananchi tafakari ajue the other guys ni akina nani. The other guys do not talk about bridges, electricity, roads, and youth development, youth employment, because they have no plan. That is what Ruto said. Drawing Miss Kiamba Ire, and I do not like it when you say the opposition is useless. That is what she said at Watertown, prompting the president to defend his remarks. And there are many things that she promised, that is included 350 million modern market, Watertown and 1,000 traders revolution of stalled housing project, inspection of a 2 billion affordable housing project, and government of Makueni University College to be incubated by Southern and Eastern University. And as our president promised that is fast tracking of markets and roads, MPs urged that is Mr. Musyoka to sever his ties with Rigathi Gachagua and align with the president. Professor Kindiki encouraged cooperation and akamwambia work with Ruto to improve Makueni residents' lives. Our challenges should relax. It's not yet election season. So ni kama, because so there is also another statement in alisema alikuwa naambia that wapoe moto Masaya campaign ijafika, but it feels like they're also doing campaign. Is literally doing what he's telling them what not to do.
Unless they define properly, you know, campaign nini, because wote wamekuwa kifanya the same thing.
I agree.
The deputy president amekuwa kipatana na MPs amid push now for the by-election ambazo zimekuwa ziko pale. Pia na yeye president pia zile comments ambazo amekuwa akisema pale bado pia nazo zinaoneshana kana kwamba bado zinahusiana na politics, because vile ambavyo ana address, vile ambavyo anasema, vile ambavyo anafanya, the way of you know, giving out this, you know, the information, because normally the other president kwa tunaona kama wanaenda place kuna ile that is the address ambao walikuwa wanafanya, so tunaona bado huyu tu bado uko tu pale juu ya gari, bado kuna, you know, those statements. So unless sasa watu waambie vile ambavyo wanamaanisha na mambo na you know early campaigns.
And there's a statement that came from Mr. Kimotho. It feels like he was trying to defend himself and argue with what that is. Professor Kindiki alimwambia by join Ruto, work with Ruto na mtaona maendeleo. Mr. Musyoka welcomed the visit but criticized delays. Akasema, I am happy he has come, but these projects are already late. Development is everyone's right. It should not be framed as a reward. So that statement, honestly, it feels like he's arguing with what Kindiki said, right?
You see, sometimes huwa tuna mistaken issues. Because wakati during that is a campaign period, all politicians wanakuwa na so many goods of promises. Mingi sana, hata unaweza ambio, unaweza fanyiwa di plastic surgery vizuri, wanasema sijui nini, mambo mengi sana huwa wanakuja kupromise. But wakiingia now sasa away now from those promises, sasa wanakuwa waajiriwa wetu, because now sasa sisi ndio their bosses, because hao sasa ni sisi tumewatumwa tufanyie kazi. But sasa ikifika pale inakuwa the other way around. Inakuwa sasa ni kama, you know, they are now the big bosses pale. So inakuwa ni zile projects ambazo wanafanya inakuwa ni kama saa zingine inakuwa ni kama begging, saa zingine inakuwa ni kama lazima wasudhiwe vizuri ndio waweze kuja fulfill those projects. But it is that is a right that they are supposed to do, because ni taxes ambayo inalipwa na Wakenya pale. So wakati kana kwamba watu wanasema ati any other leader akikuja tunamuomba afanye hii anafaa afanye hiyo. Anafaa atimize hiyo. So akikuja hapa anafaa tuambie ya kwamba that is kama ni MCA governor, that is na wale wengine watu ambao walichaguliwa, anafaa kuja aseme ile kazi mlinipatia, hii ndio mambo ambayo mimi nifanya nini nimekuja kufanya. Either kama president vile ambavyo alienda pale Ukambani akasema ya kwamba mlinichagua na the lowest vote, unajua tu ni ile tu that is a political statement. Ni majukumu yake kuweza kutimiza in all corners of our nation. Yote anafaa timize, because pia kuna Wakenya ambao that is walimchagua, kuna wale hawakumchagua, but ukiingia pale sasa unakuwa ni kiongozi ya watu wote.
As Mr. Musyoka said, it is a right for everyone's. Development is everyone's right. Na hiyo party yenye MPs walimwambia he should sever his ties with that is Rigathi Gachagua. From the statement that he said, it seems like he's not willing to do it. So let's see what will happen.
And also at the same time, who is supposed to do the assessment? Is it the president supposed to do the assessment upon himself? Ama the assessment is it supposed now to come from the Kenyans themselves? Because ni kama hasa tunaona ni kama hawa the government side, they are trying now to do self assessment every place ambao wanaenda, everywhere wanaenda tunaona wakijaribu kufanya the same thing. So it is also now so high time pia na wafanye now their own valuation, wakuje waangalie their own assessment mali wanaenda before wakuje. Wakisha kuja after wamekuja pia wanafaa pia watume watu fulani warudi pale waangalie the real situation ambavyo iko pale, because sometimes ukijifanyia self evaluation sana unaweza miss the point na pengine unaweza kuwa misguided. Ndio ile waweza kuangalia wale wananchi ambao ndio waliweza kuwapea kazi. Na tuliona pia that is ambao kwa in government walikuwa wakikuja wakifanya campaign wakisema nyinyi ndio wadosi So sasa hiyo wananchi ndio wadosi.
Time ya campaign.
Time ya campaign. But sasa ikifika the other way round unakuta sasa ule ambayo mambo the game inafanya nini, ina shift. So it is also high time pia wafanye hivyo, but the real thing is that hata kama akisema early campaign hazijaanza, already wameshaanzisha.
Get with the campaign.
Because the tactics zile wanatumia ni the same. The method, the formula, the statement and everything else, it is still the same thing. Yes.
So kusema nyani amuoni kundule.
Yeah, unajua sasa hiyo ni kitendawili.
Yeah.
And hiyo ndio baadhi ya vitu ambayo itafanya tukumbuke the former prime minister, kwa sababu alikuwa na vitendawili mingi sana.
I agree.
Yes.
Let's shift to focus on other stories. What do you have there?
So due to time, kuna hii readers corner, but before tuangalie kwa readers corner in a few, ikiangalia hapa naona that is MPs push for new law to regulate that is organ transplant. So kulikuwa na ile issue ambayo ilikuwa ina involve that is the Medhill Hospital, na the issue ambayo walikuwa na deal nayo na mambo ya organ transplant. But ikiangalia hapa that is a parliamentary committee has called for a new regulation, that is a legislation and a regulatory framework to strengthen organ transplant, that is a service in Kenya, and protect patients from exploitation. So the country has also is also required a policy that is guiding the harvesting of organs donated by that is pia kwa wale ambao wanataka kuweka hii mkataba. So it is something ambayo naona hapa the parliamentary committee ambayo iko chaired by MP that is Dr. James Nyikan, ambao sasa wanaenda kuangalia that issue. Sometimes we react upon certain things zikifanyika because sasa hii issue imekama up after kumekuwa na yale complaint ambayo tuliweza kuyaona, but it is also something that they also that is a need to address.
Yeah, I agree.
Pia weza kuangalia vizuri sana, ndio pia kusiwe na hizi more exploitation, because unajua pia kuna that is kuna pesa ambayo inakuwa involved that is during that process, but is also something that waikalie chini waweza kuiangalia na iweza kuangalia kwa ukamilifu sana, because it is something ambayo imekuwa ikifanyika that is illegally.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have that is 4 minutes. Probably you can check something briefly. That is page 14 of the Daily Nation. You remember that yesterday we mentioned that is the world gold deposit that was discovered that is in Isolo, in Kakamega, around that in Kakamega, and valued that is around that is 171 billion. But now what is happening is Kakamega residents reject British mining company, and to the residents, the arrival of the company feels like an opportunity and more like an invasion, and threatening to take away the most precious natural resources they possess. Land they possess, including land, not just bare parcels, but land rich in gold. And there is someone who said the gold was discovered that is in Kolomani, that is 1965, but there have been no cases of forceful evictions. Don't forget, the president Rashapange, what the money after they have sold this gold and everything, which is including paying the debts, and now the residents wanakata this mining to be done. We don't know what will really happen about this, because they have freedom of expression, and they can't bring that aspect here, forceful eviction, unless they do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goes back now to the statement, nani wadosi.
Nani wadosi, yeah.
Because sasa kama mwananchi ndio mdosi, anafaa apelekwa vizuri.
Yeah.
Anafaa kana kwamba kama kuna investment ambayo imekuwa discovered, hiyo that is all the profits na kila kitu inafaa iangalie vizuri, inafaa pia i-benefit, because hiyo that is all that money ambao wanaongelelea kuhusu mwananchi ni percentage gani ambao amewekewa pale. Yes.
Okay, let's see what will happen, because this is a statement from the wananchi wa Kakamega, and now let's see how the government will respond to this. As we wind up, you have something?
Yeah, just to read some of the statement from the Reader's Corner Standard, that is page 15. Ikiangalia hapa wanasema succession battle, leaders fighting to become the next Raila will make ODM politics interesting to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very statement ambayo iko hapa kwa sababu anajaribu kuanalyze mali ODM ilitoka, that is the history of itself, na pia kuangalia kwa sababu saizi ODM ndio inaangaliwa sana na mambo yale ambayo yatakuwa yakifanyika. Pia voters registration, electoral agency is not doing its work properly. Pia ni statement ambayo imeweza kuangazia hapa. Na pia kwa politics, fulfill your promises to that is a generation to Gen Z. Mr. President, that is pia naona another analyst ameweza kuangazia haya maswali pale.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if the government as well respond to that.
It is also a tip,
Yeah.
Because it's also a tip. Wajua kwamba ODM saizi inaangaliwa sana. Pia the electoral process iangaliwe na pia waangalie sana masuala ya mambo ya Gen Z.
And also don't forget they'll be celebrating, that is on Sunday, their 20th anniversary in Mombasa.
Yes.
And the president is as well invited. Let's watch and see how itaenda.
Tutaiangalia kabisa.
Okay, I guess that is what we had to check out today on what has been happening. You have something to tell the viewers?
Just to appreciate na pia kusema asante kwa vile umekuwa pamoja na sisi na kuwa na siku njema yenye baraka. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just a reminder that Mizpah House of Prayer will be hosting, that is the annual prophetic prayer congress that will be happening this coming month, that is from the 1st to the 5th of December 2025, and we'll be having great and powerful servants of God. This is an interdenominational meeting. Anybody can attend. All people of all age groups, you're all invited. For accommodation purposes, please contact 07-277-66553. This segment has been sponsored by, that is Mirugi Karaoke and Co-Advocates, that was founded, that is in 1979 by the late Honorable, that is Mirugi Karaoke. It deals with diverse areas including land disputes, conveyance, buying, selling and transfer of properties, banking and securities, perfection, succession, family law, wills, commercial disputes, and insurance and personal injuries. My name is Angela Kabete. Till next time, God bless you abundantly. Have a blessed day ahead. Bye-bye.